It's the freshest edition of Litter Media Live. None others prior to this are going to be quite like this one because it's live.
You want to poke me in the belly to see if I'm stay fresh like the Pillsbury Doughboy?
No, I apologize. I don't want to do that. Is that okay if I don't?
That's quite all right with me.
The Pillsbury Doughboy brings back a memory. And you remember the milkman who married Mom after Dad passed? He was from Jackson. He was a milkman for 45 years. And we always joked about the milkman. Well, Pillsbury is in Wellston, not too far from where he grew up and everything. And we used to call him the Pillsbury Doughboy. And he had a cookie jar that was the Pillsbury Doughboy. And that is still on Dan Jr.'s shelf. When he passed, he wanted that cookie jar. And so he has it but it's in his old bedroom in our house.
I see. More importantly, is there any
collecting
cookies?
dust? No, it says it's collected more dust than cookies over the years. So had to get that off my brain while it was sitting there.
Gotcha.
Because you just never know how long things are going to stick around anymore. Like the weather. The heat's going to stick with us for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough. And sometimes with that excessive heat, it can fire up storms. So this is from the National Weather Service earlier this morning as to what we can expect. On the right side is the heat indices for Thursday and Friday that will exceed 100 degrees in some areas. On the left, that is the area that they're expecting some possible severe weather tomorrow night, beginning late tomorrow afternoon into the night. Last night, many people know that I live in Frankfort. We had storms to the north and south, and then it was just like out of nowhere, here come one. I think there was a clap of thunder and lightning bolt must have hit like 50 yards from our house. Our daughter was visiting. She was lying on the couch asleep.
And then off the couch.
And then she was like, what in the world was that? But yeah, it got kind of nasty there for all. Well, I think we had 2 inches of rain in Frankfurt.
And we had hardly any rain. I mean, it was all wet when I woke up this morning to go out to come to work, but we didn't have hardly anything in the rain gauge. It was non-existent.
Yeah. But you got some when we didn't, so it's evening out.
It's hit and miss. That's what we've always heard from the weather forecasters. They're saying, here's the deal. It's going to be spotty, and we can't tell you what's going to happen.
But we're going to act like we know what we're saying.
That's right, doggone it. All right, coming up in a moment, this date in history is our revolutionary moment today.
That's correct.
We'll also get you caught up today with sports and a look at what's making news today. But first, we want to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. It's our understanding that they're hiring right now.
That is correct. We talk about one of our other sponsors making a career with them. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing would like you to do the same with them.
You bet. So if you want to find out more about what's going on at Accurate, click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com. You can do that with any of the ads that we have for our sponsors. Click on it, and it takes you either to their website or their social media where you can see the latest goings on. With, in this case, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Coming up, news next.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers.
And when you're in at Hometown Motors Incorporated, make sure you say hi to Regina. She had a birthday yesterday.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Regina. All right, let's get you caught up to date on what's making news across the Scioto Valley, not only on our website, littermedia.com, but on our social media.
Yeah, Benton County Fair is in full swing. Here's today's schedule. A poultry show gets things started. Well, actually, it did get things started about an hour ago. At this hour, you see the Flying Solo Show. Now, I have no idea what that is.
It's where you stand up on stage and you fly solo.
Okay, well, that makes sense. They're taking that into the Midway. There's
That's
Fair.
going on for what? How many
8 hours.
8 hours.
All the way till 7
Well,
o'clock.
it
today.
shows at 11, 2 p.m.,
Oh,
and
I
6
see
p.m.
that. Okay,
So
yeah.
just combining it
Bear
all together.
Hollow Wood Carvers, okay. Clover Bud Games, which is Clover Bud, that's a term for 4-H'ers. I guess that's the young ones.
the bitty ones, yeah.
So a lot going on. That's Tuesday's schedule today. And the entertainment tonight, motocross, Fast Tracks Motocross at 7:30 over in MacArthur.
That's become more and more popular at many of these
yeah.
county fairs. It's amazing.
Yeah. Pike County Fair is not until next week, but there's a lot of things to try to rev you up for next week. We talked about this particular thing, I don't know, a few weeks back. This is each of the county schools, or schools, Waverly and the county schools in Pike County, and this is for bus derby, I guess.
Yes, the school bus derby, which will take place next Tuesday evening. It's the 7 o'clock grandstand entertainment. There you see the Eastern Eagles. Kind of looks a little bit like the Partridge Family bus. You got the Piketon Red Streaks, which almost looks like the band bus. You got the Pike CTC right there in the middle. You've got the Waverly Tigers. Imagine that with jungle stripes and the Tigers. And the Western Indians. And maybe I'm partial because I live in Western School District. I think theirs is the coolest.
Well, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, homeboy.
Now, what happens with this derby, I do not know.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be a competition. I know that in Western's situation, Robin May is going to be the or Penny May, forgive me, Penny's Robin's sister-in-law, is driving in this event, and it should be an absolute blast.
Looks like a lot of fun. You were on the fairgrounds this morning,
I was. In fact, they have a new grandstand, and it is ready to rock, as they say. So I took the Litter Media drone out, and I thought, why not capture some of the activity? There goes that coal train. It moves up and down, and yes, you got to wait for the traffic to get through before the traffic can get on 23. New pavement, as you can see, the surfacing of 23 behind you there. They don't have all the lines down on it yet, so be careful as you go out and about. A new announcing booth with this whole new structure. I mean, they leveled everything and put this one up ready to go. And I had the question last night. I saw some photos on the Pike County Fair Facebook page, and I said, what's the seating capacity? Thank you to the two folks who responded. 2,000. It will seat 2,000 fans.
And that'll all be ready to go.
Yes. They have their Queen contest and everything on Sunday night this year. And then Monday is going to be the big entertainment. Nate Smith is going to be there to perform.
Good deal. All down in Pike County at the fair starting this weekend.
You know, I was in Pike County yesterday for a special event. We'll hear more about that coming up later in the show.
Staying on the topic of fairs, the rabbit projects for the Ross County Fair, which the fair kicks off August, the weekend, the 5th and 6th. But this is for the kids with the rabbit projects. You should consider going to the Rabbit Barn at the fairgrounds this Thursday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. to talk about everything you need to know for this year's fair. You can even bring your rabbits to check their weights. So they're calling it a pre-fair clinic this Thursday out of the Ross County Fairgrounds. Story we had on littermedia.com yesterday that involves not only the entire state but our sector. Lieutenant Governor John Husted announcing 6 regional hubs across the state that will expand the efforts of Ohio's broadband and 5G sector partnerships locally. Now, in Southeast Ohio, that would include Ohio University, Hocking College, Area 14 Workforce Development Board, and the Community Action Organization of Scioto County. You can get more information about what that actually means for all of us at littermedia.com. Talking about fairs, what about festivals? The Frankfort Sunflower Festival is this weekend. That'll be Saturday and Sunday. There's the schedule. They get things started off bright and early on both days, around 8 o'clock. Some breakfast, I think pancake breakfast, that's always on Sunday.
And you're scheduled for a haircut today, so you'll not be in the mullet competition, right?
Yeah, I won't be able to
No
take part in
mustache,
that.
anything like that.
Yeah, nothing like that. So if you're in the Frankfort area, check that out this Saturday and Sunday. You know, It isn't going to be long. Kids are going back to school. And Waverly City Schools, they do it upright. They have a back-to-school bash at the Downtown Sports Complex on August the 21st from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. This will be free admission for all ages, and it's considered an entertainment event. You can see surrounding the middle image there all the different things that are going to be taking place, dunk tank, food, all that good stuff. Just a lot of fun at Waverly City Schools. I don't know if this is the first year for this or if they've done this in the past.
I cannot tell you. I do not know.
Yeah, so check it out down in Waverly. Amanda Township Fire Department will be hosting the Aces Against Cancer Pancake Breakfast fundraiser. Mark it on your calendar for 8 a.m. August the 19th. All proceeds will go towards and benefit what is known as Aces Against Cancer.
Dan Jr.'s celebration of his 40th birthday has just gotten larger.
Yeah.
Now we can go to Amanda, have a pancake breakfast, slide down to the food distribution at Huntington Township, swing our way over to Franklin Township for their fish fry, and then make our way down to Schmidt's Sausage House and making the bus stop at the Pike Heritage Museum, all on August 19th.
One thing for certain, you'll have your belly full if you
And a long
do all
nap
that
afterwards.
Kind of stuff. Yeah. Ross County Health District is sponsoring their annual tire collection drive at the Ross County Fairgrounds. Now, that's not until October the 14th, but oftentimes I'll get these questions about, when can we take our old computers to be recycled? When can we get rid of our tires? Well, it's down the road, but mark it on your calendar. This is for Ross County on Saturday, October 14th from 8 a.m. until noon. And it even gives you the listing there as to, what type of tires, sizes, how many, that sort of thing. You could also call the health district to get more information. Another event down the road in October, the 21st, 7:30 p.m., one night only. Majestic Theater is hosting 3 bands for its Rocking to Raise the Roof event. Audience will be able to cast votes to award one of the bands a People's Choice Award. Additionally, there will be a 50-50 drawing, snacks, and great music all night. Felony 4, the Weegians, and the BBJ Project will all be performing. Proceeds from the event will help Majestic Theater fund its next renovation project, which ironically is to replace the deteriorating roof. Tickets are on sale now at majesticchillicothe.net.
And you did say BBJ, not
BBJ.
PB&J project.
No peanut butter and well, I guess they could have that in the concession stand.
That's hard to sing.
Yeah, they didn't say
with
that.
peanut butter in the roof of your mouth.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be
absolutely.
easy.
Some other events that are we've told you about before, just want to give you some last-minute reminders because they're going to be coming up tomorrow. This is for the kids, the Summer Junior Member Program at Ross County Historical Society about working on the Ohio and Erie Canal. And told you also about this earlier, Ranger Bost will have the first public tour of the new Slate Mills Spur Trail at Buzzard's Roost. That's tomorrow morning also at 10:30 a.m.
Truly trailblazing.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Might want to bring your boots, your mosquito and tick repellent and all that good stuff.
Yes.
When you're out there on Redbird Lane.
And your compass in case you get lost.
Yeah, absolutely. Ranger Boss wouldn't let you get lost.
No,
would he?
not at all. Nor would this guy. This is Brock Brewster. He's the superintendent of Western Local Schools. And you see all that behind him there? That is going to become the Western Local Career Development Center. What is that? Why is that? Well, he explains.
I want all kids to do well. I want every single teenager in the state of Ohio, especially Southern Ohio, to do well. I just want my kids to do a little better. I want employers to say, I know if I need workers, I can go right to Western High School, I can find them. So we've met with employers, we've asked them, what do you need? They told us our programming at this high school is now focused on what can we do to help our kids be marketable? What can we do to help our employers fill their needs in the workforce in Southern Ohio, and also help our kids to roll out of here with credentials, with training, and with confidence to be able to supply those needs and start their life with a great job at 18, 19 years old, not wait till they're in their early, maybe mid, late 20s to realize, you know what, I probably need a job with benefits. I probably need a job with these extra things besides just a paycheck.
You can hear this entire interview on our website, on our YouTube channel. So go to Litter Media on YouTube, and you'll be able to hear everything he had to say about this. And listening to what Brock had to say, this very well could be a game changer, not just for the high school kids, which he wants to get them involved in their sophomore years, to have internships by their junior year, and then have possibly a job during their senior year.
Wow.
Now, this sounds a lot like what they're doing with career and technology centers, but this is development of those other kids. He says we have 15% of our kids go to college, 35%, or what was it? Yeah, 50% go into CTC, but then the other 35% are the ones he's concentrating on, the ones that don't seem to have a pathway. And this is a great way to help. And it's not just the kids. It's if you have graduated and you live in the Western School District, you want to work in this facility, maybe remotely, whichever the case may be, it's going to be available to you also. You just have to sign up to do it.
Very good.
So, and that includes even if you want to take college courses online or apply online, that sort of thing, that will all be available in this center they're putting together.
Very good. Check that out at Litter Media YouTube. Road report today up in Pickaway County. Island Road is closed at US 22 now through the month of August. If you've been up there, you know that interchange with the off-ramp from 23 is undergoing some work, which also affects the entrance in and out of Island Road. But again, that'll be closed through August. The detour is US 22 to Court Street to High Street, then back to Island Road.
You know, we talked earlier about Accurate Heating and Cooling and Plumbing, looking for workers. Well, we know the McDonald's is always looking for workers, too. Open interviews every Wednesday from 2 until 5 p.m. I slid through the McDonald's. Well, I didn't slide through.
You're always sliding through there. What's up with that?
Your brakes don't work, I guess is one thing. No, I did stop at McDonald's, had some breakfast on the way here today. But when I went into McDonald's, I saw in Waverly that they were roll painting the outside of the building. All of the McDonald's restaurants have been spruced up here of late.
Yeah.
So your chance to work in one of those fantastic, beautiful facilities they have, 4 of them here in Chillicothe, 1 in Circleville, over in Greenfield, and, of course, the one I was at today in Waverly. And when you stop in, just say, I'm looking for work. And 2 to 5, they'll sit down with you and say, let's have this open interview right now. And who knows, you might be working that evening.
Could be.
All at McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
There's your cue. All right, coming up, we'll take a look at what's going on with the world of sports when we return, right after these words from our fine sponsors.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
At Rathkamp Financial, we act as your advocate in all wealth matters. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Time to take a look at sports now.
Some more coaching changes at Washington Senior High.
I like that. That's a picture of me in sub-zero weather.
Yes.
Throwing water.
It's not going to be that cold, folks. Oh.
Wishful thinking there.
Yeah, Washington City Schools looking to replace 2 successful spring sports coaches. Baseball coach Mark Schwartz and softball coach Rick Foose recently submitting their resignations. Swartz, who led the Blue Lions baseball team to FAC championships the last 2 seasons, a regional appearance last year, and a state Final Four spot this past spring. His son is a senior at Muskingum University this coming fall, so obviously wanting to spend time watching his son. Now, Coach Foose of the softball Lady Blue Lions has been their coach 15 of the last 21 years in 2 different stints. He's leaving to become a new math teacher at the Taze Valley School District. But we wish them well, and congratulations on their years of great coaching at Washington Senior High. Paints were off last night, but they are in action at Champion City. That's over in Springfield, Ohio. 6:35 first pitch for the Paints tonight.
And this is a battle for first place. Both these teams, Chillicothe has a leg up on them, but the Kings have played 2 more games here in the second half of the season, so this is kind of like for bragging rights right here.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Battle of first place that didn't go our way, so to speak, last night. The Reds and the Brewers. It was a pitching duel, and it came down to the bottom of the 9th inning where the Brewers won it 3-2. Game 2 of that 3-game series is tonight. The Brewers back up by 1.5 games over Cincinnati in the NL Central. The Guardians losing to lowly Kansas City. I think, I don't know if Kansas City ever got it turned around after the Reds played them earlier in the year, but they were awful. The worst team in baseball is the Athletics. They're like 20-something and 70-something.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've already moved to Vegas. It's like, why bother? But, yeah, KC was the winner last night, 5-3. They're back at it again tonight in Cleveland.
The Reds are 2-9 against the Brewers this year.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had a 500 record against Milwaukee, they'd be, 5 games up?
Yeah.
4 games up?
I just think Milwaukee, I think overall, Cowboys said this a couple of times in the broadcast last night. I think the Reds are a better overall team, but the Brewers have better overall pitching, bullpen, and starters right now. And how many times have we seen it? Certainly in the 1990 World Series we saw it. Good pitching can shut down good hitting. Mm-hmm. But Ellie De La Cruz's home run that went over the Toyota vehicle last night,
monster
450-some feet, that was a banger. He almost had 2 home runs, but his first at bat, he got robbed of one. So.
Yeah, I didn't get to see.
And that kid, Weimer,
yeah,
he's a Cincinnati guy.
Yeah.
Played for UC. So take that, hometown team.
I was looking at the statistical information head-to-head between the Reds and the Brewers. Reds have scored more runs on average. Their batting average is 22.022 higher. They have 9 more home runs. They have 25 more stolen bases. But the ERA is the difference there, 393 to 472. And the OAV is 259 against the Reds pitching, 234 against the Milwaukee pitching.
Yeah.
So
there have been some rumblings the last week or so that the Reds might be interested in talking to teams in a trade for Jonathan India in exchange for what they say, interpret this for me, controllable pitching. What's that mean? I can get the ball over the plate or what?
Someone who can pitch with control would be my guess.
Well, hopefully any pitcher that gets in the big leagues can pitch with control, but apparently that's not the case.
Yeah.
So.
And I wish they would get rid of the box that is above the plate.
Yeah, that's frustrating to watch
and what makes it frustrating is not that it's there. What's frustrating is seeing a ball that hits outside of that box being called a strike.
Right.
And then you see the same pitch, the same spot a few batters later, and it's a ball.
Yeah.
And it's like,
we don't need the umpires to look any worse than some people think they already are. So.
I mean, these guys are doing their best to call them as they see them. And when you put that box up there, I wouldn't want to be an umpire behind home plate just for that reason.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
All right, coming up in just a moment, we'll take a look at our revolutionary moment. Thank you to the Nathaniel Massey chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. So perhaps one of these days they can come in and do it for us.
That'd be great.
I mean, they write it for us, but it'd be nice if they were actually on camera telling us about this revolutionary moment.
If you could get any of them to not be so busy at what they're already doing, just take time to stop in.
That
Those ladies are busy.
You guys have those stairs. We got to climb those stairs.
Yeah, they're busy.
Believe me, we're out of breath when we climb those steps as well. All right, coming up, we'll take a look at our revolutionary moment and a radio moment for you, too. Want to tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Is that okay? Can I do that?
You can do that.
I'm allowed to do that? If you are in need of a dumpster, you're doing a big cleanup job, whether it be your business or your home, or maybe you own properties and you need to make a cleanup effort there. 740-253-8389 is the number to call. Tell Carl that Dan and Mike sent you, and he might charge you more. No, he won't do that.
Don't do that.
Make sure you call Carl and tell him that we sent your way for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. 740-253-8389.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
It's
do
only
the
worth it
best
if you enjoy
you
it.
can.
Michelob Ultra.
My wife thought it was Willie Nelson, but it's Johnny Mathis.
Yeah, when we started playing this commercial, you and I couldn't. I think you Googled it as to who it was, but yeah, I just don't hear Johnny Mathis.
Well, I can hear it. I can hear the Johnny Mathis in there, but I just kind of pictured him, doing
maybe
a
it's
Christmas
the,
carol.
maybe it's
as
the
opposed to that.
guitar, the way it's playing in the background.
Well, it's country.
Usually I'm hearing Johnny Mathis sing Christmas
Mm-hmm.
chestnuts by the fire, that kind of stuff. So that velvet voice.
Let's go back to a more simpler time in Mike Smith's history.
As for me, give me liberty or give me death. Who said it?
Patrick Henry.
He the man. Played an important role in the American Revolution. He wanted to be heard and start a war, actually. Most know him for that amazing speech that we just quoted. That speech changed a lot of hearts and influenced what people thought of everything. In 1776, Patrick Henry was elected governor of Virginia. He was a strong critic of the Constitution, though, that was proposed in 1787. How about that? I want a new country, but I don't like that Constitution thing that you put together.
Forget about this piece of paper for principles. What are you talking about?
What do you mean, we the people, Patrick Henry, a salute today from the Nathaniel Massey chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution.
And you said he was governor of Virginia?
Virginia in 1776. So I probably had a vote on this Declaration of Independence thing that came out before the Constitution.
I was thinking about our radio moment this morning, and this didn't really happen on our radio program, but I thought about the times we have had to do public speaking or we've emceed things. I don't know how many things during my career that I've emceed, but one stands out in infamy for me. This is why we like to read over the script before we see it. It's so we don't get tripped up by certain words. And this particular event I was at, this would have been, I'd been in radio maybe 4 or 5 years. And I still had not learned to do this. So I try my best, even when I do the Queen's pageants, and they have those fishbowl questions.
Oh, yeah.
I want to read through the questions so I know how to ask it, first of all, but make sure there's no words that's going to make me stumble. And the word I had trouble with was philanthropic.
Well done.
Thank you. But that showed up more than once in the script.
Yeah.
And there were a number of people there that were to be acknowledged for their philanthropic events and efforts that they have made. And I thought to myself, he's the most philanthropic philanthropist that's ever been philanthropic, you know?
Yeah.
And I stumbled my way through the word philanthropic. See, still
See, you
it's
just
stuck in my
had to go one too many
flashbacks.
times. Yeah.
And Fritz the Night Owl was there for this event that I was in, and he said, "Man, I felt for you. I've been there."
Yeah.
And I said, "Thank you, Fritz, but that doesn't help me right now because I couldn't find a rock to crawl under."
Oh, yeah.
There was the other moment that I was at the Little Turtle Country Club. Jimmy Crump was there, and I was to introduce Jimmy Crump. So he was the keynote speaker. I was just emceeing the event, and I was welcoming everyone to the Little Turtle Country Club. And I stopped. Everybody busted out laughing, and the great Jimmy Crump says, "Dan, I've been there."
Yeah. Probably among the many embarrassing on-air moments, this was not, thank God, in public, because I probably would have burrowed a hole in the ground to hide, was when I was reading a story about poisonous mushrooms due to food poisoning, and the AP story in parentheses describes botulism as a food poisoning organism. I didn't say organism. And the more I tried to correct it, the worse it got. Well, there was a dear friend of ours that used to listen to the show quite a bit. She was a nurse. And she said, she wrote me a letter that obviously arrived days later. She said, "Mike, I was driving to work that morning that you were talking about the food poisoning." And she said, "I laughed so hard I almost drove in the ditch." So that was probably one of my top ones.
One of those mornings where they were listening, wishing that they wore Depends undergarments because of Mike making them laugh so hard.
For years, I also was the pronouncer for the Ross County Spelling Bee. Well, most of us with a particular word, we pronounce it the way we pronounce it. But
Tomato.
Yeah, there are some words that, even according to the dictionary, have multiple pronunciations.
Wash.
No. So when you're giving that word to the speller, if there is another pronunciation, you have to give them both. And then, of course, they have the if you've ever watched the Spelling Bee on ESPN or whatever, they can ask, what's its origin, use it in a sentence, what's the definition. So you got to have all that stuff written out. And you don't have time to look it up right at the spur of the moment in a book or the dictionary.
Is this why you weren't invited back?
No, I did that for about 20 years, actually. And the reason I stopped was because my daughter in school, it was her year to be in the spelling bee. And I said, I can't do this with her participating. Well, she blew it as far as in the final round on a word. She said, I knew it, and I missed it. If you've been following us here for long, you know that for 3 years in a row, they have an adult spelling bee in Washington Courthouse. She's won it every year.
She's the queen bee.
And she says, I know I'm 30-some years old, but she says, I'm trying to make up for screwing up on that word when I was in 6th grade. So it's amazing how some things spur us to do things later on.
I remember being in a spelling bee competition in our 4th grade classroom. Mrs. Griffith was the teacher at the time, and I was down to the final 2. It was Pam Spencer and me, and my word was address, and I misspelled address. I think
Too many
I left
D's or S's.
I don't think there was enough D's in it, and that was the closest I've ever been to winning that type of a competition.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, that's the closest, and I was in the 4th grade. so I have come up short a lot in my life.
And now the things we type out, it's always, it'll underscore it, and then you think, wait a minute, that's
you
looks
kind of
right.
doubt yourself a little bit.
And sometimes the computer's not always right, so you got to double check that stuff.
One of the lines I like using during the Ronald McDonald House, their handbag hullabaloo, which is coming up again in September, I get to read the words for that game. No problem with the words. The problem is when we draw the numbers for certain. So, it's a drawing going on, and I say, okay, if you have the number 8, these women. Now, keep in mind, there's 200 plus women in the conference center there, Christopher Conference Center, and they've been having a little bit of beverage while they're there. So there's
It's for a good cause, folks.
these 6 or 8 number tickets that they're looking at for this drawing, and I'm like, 8, and they start at certain tables just start going, woo, we're still involved. 7, woo, 8, woo, 6, oh, and that first big, I'm out. I have to stop and say, ladies, I've been disappointing women since 1962. And they all just get a kick out of that. So, all part of the fun. All right, tomorrow we have, we're supposed to have a special guest tomorrow afternoon. But I have yet to receive confirmation about that. But it's about the Ruck 22 event coming up in September for veterans and veteran suicide. So I'm going to talk about that hopefully tomorrow afternoon. We'll have this program, and our Pickaway County guests are not going to be able to join us.
They just notified us this morning some things have come up on their schedule that they're not going to be able to be here. So we'll try to have an events show like we've done when we haven't had a guest in the past. So
unless you're in Pickaway County right now and you got something to talk about and you want to be
down.
on the show.
Come on down.
Come on.
Come on down.
What is the Price is Right? Come on down.
Come on down. Yeah.
That's it for the program today. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back here again tomorrow with more fun and frivolity and information about stuff going on across the Scioto Valley. For the icon, Mycon Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. Thanks for watching Litter Media Live.